Hi, this is Tom from Inspiration Metalworks. I just wanted to start by thanking the new subscribers I've had recently. I've had quite a few new subscribers and happy to see that. You know, when I started this channel, I was just kind of doing it as much for myself as it was to be able to reach out to this community that I'm in, and so I'm really pleased with the kind of feedback that I've gotten so far, and just how helpful everybody is. So thank you guys, and thanks again for watching my videos. Today's video, really, I wanted to talk a little bit about this foot peg project I've been working on, and I've been working on it for a while. You've seen several iterations, actually. If we look at it, we have the original prototype, right? So it was just made out of mild steel, and I never finished the mounting point here. Right, so I was working on order of operations on the lathe, and so I went ahead and got all that done, and then started working on the next version of it, which I was going to make out of stainless. And stainless is really heavy and really difficult to machine, and I got about yay far, right? And revisited the project and went, you know, maybe this wasn't the right idea. And went back to the guy I'm making this for, and we talked about it, and all the other stuff was made out of aluminum anyway, so we switched gears and went to 6061 aluminum. And so we went ahead and made a pair out of 6061, and then I went ahead and started on the new mill, right, because I got the fancy new mill here. But what I didn't do, and this is where I started making mistakes on this, was I didn't run through my order of operations on my test piece. I was so excited about having the new mill, and as I started bringing it down to size, right, it was just doing a great job. I'm like, wow, this is awesome, this is great. But when I started doing the shaping, when I actually started making that part of it, that's when I started running into some problems. And I just wanted to use today to talk a little bit about what I've learned so far on all this, right? So, you know, maybe this helps somebody else as we're doing it. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was lathe operations, right? So with the lathe, especially when we were looking at the stainless, right, I was concerned about this thing flexing. I was, you know, about the 3-jaw chuck being able to hold it, because I don't have a long enough or a big enough headstock for this. This piece was actually, I want to say 2-inch. I have to go back and look. Inch and 3/4. So it wouldn't go through. I've only got a 3/4 inch through hole on my piece. So making sure that everything was chucked up properly and indexed, make sure that it was, you know, aligned properly. The next thing I ran into, switching back to the aluminum, because the aluminum machined pretty well for me. Right, 6061, it machines well. It's real strong. But I ran into things like, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, I got some chatter marks on there, specifically down on this side. So the further away I got from the headstock, the more chatter I started to get in there. And so you know, by adjusting the speed, I was able to minimize some of that. So on the other piece, you know, I adjusted the speed and it came out fine. Now you're not even going to see that because I'm going to go through and polish these before they go off for chroming anyway. So all that stuff, all those little imperfections are going to go away. But that was one thing that was something to pay attention to on that. But where I learned the most was actually on this new mill. I don't have as much experience on a mill as I do on the lathe, partially because the old Harbor Freight mill that I had couldn't do much. Right? So now that I've got this mill that's capable of doing a whole lot more, I'm learning a whole lot more as well. So the first mistake that I made when doing this, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. In the order of operations here, it was pretty straightforward, right? It was all cylindrical still. You chuck it up, you make sure that everything is nice and parallel, and you just go ahead and take it down to size on the top, right? That's the easy part. The next part, you got to get it flipped over and make sure that it's parallel, right? So, you know, not too hard to do. You can do that part. But this is where I started making mistakes. Is when I had to cut into this section here, right, I approached it from the front. Right? I already had it chucked up. It was all parallel. I wasn't thinking about it. I just came in and went directly in. And I basically had to come in and down and in and down, in and down, in and down. Well, when I did that, I hadn't locked the table. Right? So it shifted on me a little bit. And I actually ended up coming into this side a little bit, which was straightforward enough to fix, but it was one of these parts where I wasn't real happy about that. But it looks fine, everything's okay, it's not a big deal. And that part of it's going to be in the bracket itself, so you're not even going to see any of this. But I know it's there, right? It's plenty strong, and there's no problems with it, but from a craftsmanship perspective, I know it's there, and I want to do better next time. So what I'll do next time is I'll actually indicate this so that it's straight perpendicular to the table, straight up and down, right? And then I'll just use a ball and mill and come in across, right? It'll make it a whole lot easier to do. I can also step it so that it comes up and around a little nicer, and then use it on the sander to round that off a little more. So that should help quite a bit in making sure that I've got things, or I'm doing things the easy way instead of the hard way. And it's not like this was actually a mistake. It got done, right? It got done just fine. But it wasn't the easiest way to do it. And that's where I'm learning on this is, figuring out the best ways, the easy ways to get this done, so that I'm not fighting the equipment or fighting the workpiece. So with that, I know this was a long intro and going through things. I'll probably show a bit more video today. I'm not sure yet. I may just cut it off here, but I will be on the buffing machine for a while on this, and then I'm actually going to go through on my test piece that I have, and I'm going to do this in the vertical position and try it that way and see how it machines. Now it will be different because I'll be machining mild steel versus aluminum, so cut depths and speeds will be a little different, but in general I should be able to at least figure out the overall order of operations again. So thanks again, I appreciate it, and have a great day. Well, I apologize for the mess, but I'm not quite finished with my shop rearranging. So making sure that everything's clear of this, that nothing's going to rattle and move into anything here. But do a three-stage process. We'll start with this one just so you can get an idea. If you take a look, I don't know how well it's going to focus on it. There we go. That's what our finish looks like right now, right? So we'll do a three-stage process in here to get it polished up, and we're just trying to get the majority of the imperfections off, because it's going to go through a polishing process there at the when it's in for chroming as well. So let's make sure you can see this okay. Let's shift a little bit there. You should be able to see okay? Yeah. Alright. A little rouge on there. I'm using a black rouge right now. So I want to do some heavy cutting first, and we'll get progressively lighter with our cuts. You guys see? Yeah, you guys see. Alright. One thing I'm doing is, because this was turned on the mill, it's going to have all those, the lines will go a certain direction, so I'm actually trying to go across those lines. Help smooth that out a little bit. This is a long process, so I'll bring you guys back later. Well, it took a little while to get that done, and had a couple of phone calls and people showing up at the house, so I I didn't record everything, I just got started. But I did a 3-stage polish, and I don't know how well you guys can see the difference, but it came out alright. Of course, this polish is just to get it started because I believe these are actually going to get sent out for chroming. But, it's a good way to get it started, make sure that it looks as good as possible before it even gets there. So the only thing left now are just to do a test fitting, make sure everything, when it sits on the bike, that it can do its rotating and that it sits straight out when it comes back in. So that's it for the foot pegs. If I get a chance, I'll shoot some video of the pegs when I'm doing the test fit, just so we can see what they look like on the bike, and I can show you guys the Impaler, the bike that this is going on. All the controls have that pointed end on it, so these were actually made to fit that bike and try and match as close as possible as the original. So with that, I think I'll probably call it for this video. I might shoot some more video this weekend and put it into a different segment, but this is just the foot peg update, and I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Thanks.